Nottingham Forest in the last few minutes have confirmed it, Martin. Morgan Gibbs-White is their player. £25 million payment up front, guaranteed, with between £7 and £10 million to follow in likely add-ons, with another potential bunch of add-ons. This deal could rise, incredibly, to a breathtaking £42.5 million.
Astonishing, isn't it?
I mean,
I think, obviously, he is a player that I consider to be, of good quality, but not this amount of money.
Well,
it's
it now appears, Martin, it wasn't only Forest who were trying to get him, because late last night, we now understand, Everton were pushing hard to hijack the deal and matched the fee, the £25 million fee paid by Forest. But ultimately, the player wants to play for Steve Cooper again, and the deal with Forest was too advanced. So, I mean, that's where he's ended up.
Well, you're talking £45 million for a player that's not really a regular, isn't he? At Wolves, I mean, he's been out on loan. They don't look like they've okay, you could say that's a part of the development at Wolves, and I'm pretty certain a lot of people will say, okay, we're not actually nurturing these players to then get rid of them. That's not their dream, but they're getting an awful lot of money for him, so it makes for a great deal for Wolves in the end. But Forest, you start to look at the chemistry of that dressing room, the number of players they're bringing in,
16,
and can they get it right? I mean, that win at the weekend was an amazing atmosphere, an historical day for those Forest fans, and very important, because you need results quickly when you're trying to. I mean, I can only imagine the changing rooms had to be extended to get all of these players through the door. No end of players. I count 3 left backs that they've purchased. So it's got to work for them, Jim, and it has to happen quick. I'm just looking at Dennis going in there as well from Watford. Is he the right type? A lot of people criticise him at Watford, where it kind of imploded there. The team atmosphere wasn't very good. So a lot of work for the manager to try and gel this group together quickly. There's no doubt about the talent. And if you look at the excitement of that, not to have a go at maybe a Burnley who've been in there, who've just come out of the Premier League and didn't really make too many signings. 16 signings in one summer is remarkable.
They spent 150 million quid, Simon.
Yeah.
Now, I was with Marinakis.
If you get to 45 million on Morgan Gibbs, Gibbs-White.
So Marinakis said to me at Wembley on that day when they beat Huddersfield, trophies. We want trophies. This is why I'm here. We want trophies. I will do everything to win Forest fans trophies. Well, by God, he's certainly doing that. He's certainly rolling the dice. And yet now on social media, it seems like every fan, apart from the Forest fans, are critical of Marinakis and Forest having gone to this amount of money for Gibbs-White. 42.5 million quid.
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest that the headline figure of 27 million quid with add-ons is probably the more prevalent one, because if you're suggesting that he's got to make a certain amount of appearances, Forest have got to retain their position in the Premier League and so on and so forth, and there's a variety of caveats, then you start to build a transfer fee that becomes conditional upon performances that work for the football club as well. You cannot argue whether the quality he's built and buying, the quality he's buying isn't going to win him things. It's going to perhaps give him a chance to build a platform to stay in the Premier League and give him an opportunity to buy better players. This is an owner that told you what he was going to do and has gone and done it. It is, to my mind, a significant amount of money to be spending in your first season back in the Premier League and after being away for 23 years, but that's the culmination of 23 years perhaps in this man's mind.
Is it significant or crazy?
It's only crazy if he can't afford to substantiate it or subsidise it if they go down and they can't unload these players. If he's bought well, if these players have been bought at a reasonable price, even if they get sold at a depreciated price, they can still get Forest out of the cart if the worst were to happen. The man's got a lot of money, and the man's interested in building Nottingham Forest into a football club to embrace and harness all the emotion and all the opportunity that a great club like Forest could get with a very decent manager like Steve Cooper. Martin will speak to more eloquently about the embracing of this amount of players coming into a dressing room with the culture changing day by day and the need to knit together a group of players. I think it is what it is. I think it is an unedifying amount of money for a club that's just been promoted, but that's their business. And if they can fund it, and if they can substantiate it if it goes wrong, then why not? They've spent all their money, all of their money on transfer fees.
I think there's a decent players in there, Jim. I looked at O'Brien at the weekend, playing in midfield, took him from Huddersfield. look really good in there, and there might be other clubs thinking maybe missed an opportunity. So,
Well,
Steve Cooper,
Simon rightly says it's their business. I agree with him, but they mean business.
they do, and I think though that one telling thing. I went to the playoff final at the end of last season, Jim. I believe you were there as well.
Yeah.
And I think there's only 3 players from that team that started the game last weekend. So to get that home win was really very important.
Critical,
How he
isn't it?
gets this group to gel quickly and feel like a club again. I know it was a lot of mismatches and loanies and all the rest of it. I wonder what Spencer's thinking, by the way. Didn't even make the bench last weekend for Tottenham.
The thing
a
is,
player that Forest were desperate to buy.
Cooper knows exactly what he's doing, doesn't he? Because it's not as if it's not going. Is it going to be a major task to get them to gel? Here's this kid coming in here, and he's 22, Morgan Gibbs-White, and it could rise to 42.5 million. But he was part of Cooper's England side that won the FIFA Under-17s World Cup. But that was back in 2017.
So he knows the manager. I mean,
so they know each other well.
You make a
He
point,
knows them.
and your point is a good point, which is Lewis O'Brien, but he's a 5 million signing. Right? You get 5, 6, 7, 8 of those, fine. But these guys aren't getting any deals anywhere. These guys are paying top money for players, and it's the £18 million, the £20 million, the £30 million players that they're signing. The Jesse Lingard with the wages that are coming in. That's before you even factor him into the equation. So they've taken all of their money and more from the Premier League, and they've taken that and they've spent it on transfers. Then they've got to meet the wage bill. So I imagine the wage bill now is up in the 60, 70, 80 million pound brackets from where they were probably at 30 million at Forest to where they are now is a huge. So they're going to be posting significant losses.
They're spinning the wheel.
Where are you at with it, though, Simon?
They've gone for it.
Where are you at with it? They've gone for it, yes. Do you applaud them for going for it?
I will always applaud somebody that says what they're going to do and then goes and does it. And then you have to wait for the moment of adversity, which is if it goes wrong, where are they? Now, there's no indication this man's going to go anywhere besides stay behind it. But he's in a moment of euphoria. He's in a moment of absolute forward momentum and wants to be driving this football club in the way that he can, which is give the finances to the manager and say, there you go, son, away you go. Now, with that in mind, I hope for Forest, despite people's protestations about my regard for Jesse Lingard and transfer deals that they did there, I love Nottingham Forest as a football club. I grew up watching them. I grew up admiring John Robertson. I grew up admiring the players that played for them, like John McGovern and whoever else we want to name. And obviously, I employed one of the Nottingham Forest stalwarts in Trevor Francis. So with that in mind, I want Forest to do well. I don't like the state of the transfer market. I do think it's madness what's being spent in the market at this moment in time. And I do think there is a tax that's being paid by English clubs buying English players that are paying far too much money for these players. But this is the market, and if you want to play in it,
it's exciting, though, isn't it?
It's a dogfight to get the best players. Yeah,
there is something magical about Nottingham Forest.
I agree.
Club and Brian Clough, and
I agree.
What they achieved to, you go into the boardroom and it's like they got this sideboard like you might have had at your grandma's house, and there's 2 Champions League trophies sitting in it. It's quite remarkable how they've achieved that. So to get that back and get anywhere close to it, I think it's a great opportunity for the fans.
Well, they're certainly giving it a buzz,
dream
aren't
the
they?
dream.
They're dreaming the dream. Or will they dream the dream? That's a big question. Despite the criticism, then, should Forest be applauded for rolling the dice as opposed to taking on promotion without any kind of a fight? 03717 22 344 810 89. And interestingly, now we know Morgan Gibbs-White, Everton pushed hard last night, it's been reported, to hijack the deal. Where are Forest and Gibbs-White this weekend? At Goodison.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.